And we are back on The Rodriguez
Rodriguez
Show, and we have our only guest for this episode returning for the first time in 5 years. Really enjoyed him the first time. This is Sad Planet. What's up, man?
Hey. Yo, what's up? Thank you for having me, Rodriguez Show. I go by the name of Sad Planet, a.k.a. Sad Planet Forever, Planet EXE, DJ Planet, a.k.a. Rizzy McGuire. We out here.
Rizzy McGuire.
Rizzy McGuire. It's like my fifth alias.
Like you said, at Sad Planet Forever, that's the Instagram. Letters to Earth is out now. You can listen to it on any streaming platform. And yeah, man, we'll get into all that. So 2019, 5 years ago was the last time you was here. Let's talk about that, man. How you been?
I've been great. I've been blessed. I've had a lot of cool experiences. Kind of traveled around a little bit. I experienced life in the Midwest.
Yeah.
DJ'd a bunch of farm weddings. I went to Florida. I was in Florida for a little bit, and then I went back to South Dakota, and I just experienced life, and it made me feel really blessed to be here right now. I thought of this all the time.
Yeah, you were telling us before. So South Dakota, you went out there for school. Is that what happened initially?
Yeah, it was interesting timing because I think it was like August 2nd, 2019 that I did the interview here.
Yeah.
And it really felt like just a beautiful opportunity. I was integrated in a beautiful community.
Yeah.
And I had already committed like a year prior to go to school in South Dakota. I'm Blackfoot Sioux. So it's the Lakota tribe.
Yeah.
So I went to it's called a land grant university out there, and just wanted to connect with my roots. I met some really good people from the reservations, and it really educated me on my heritage and my culture. So
that's so cool, man, that you got to connect with that.
Yeah,
and so you were there for 2019. That's when you moved, and then the pandemic happened. So how long were you there for?
The pandemic delayed things actually quite a bit. At first, it was just supposed to be, a year in and out type thing. But August 2019 is when I went back. So, a couple months later, like the pandemic hit, and I was just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
Just out in the countryside.
Is it true what they say in general of the people there that they're nicer in the Midwest? Or where you were at least?
It's kind of, okay, so it is kind of different. I feel like passively, people are more passive aggressive out there.
Gotcha.
I feel like there is this idea of like Midwest nice. Like Southern hospitality is kind of like Midwest hospitality, where like people like will be like really down to help you like fix your car or something. Like, just like park around there, around the farmland. We get it fixed up, that type of thing. So that's really cool. But I feel like here when someone is nice to you, they mean it. It's authentic. Yeah. Like people are more authentic in their niceness or generosity. Out there, it's kind of more
to keep appearances,
cultural expectation. Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you said you were there in South Dakota for a while, and then you went to Florida too. How long were you in Florida?
Yeah, I was in Florida for just a summer. I worked at one of the resorts. Like it was just some like random opportunity that I was like, shoot, I never even been to Florida, so I was like, I could go like work on the beach and shit. So shout out the Supermoon group chat. If y'all watching this, Supermoon group chat, they're still out there in Florida. They really hyped up my first song, Supermoon.
Gotcha.
And they named a whole group chat. They still have it going too. I don't read it all the time, but it's like Supermoon group chat with like a smoking emoji. And
nice.
It's named after me. After my song.
How long have they kept that going?
Since 2021, since I was out there.
Oh, okay, so a few years. This is a community of people.
Yeah,
that's
a
cool.
Small community. Yeah.
Nice. Dang. So all this experience led to you coming back to Southern California. When did you come back?
So I came back in April
of this month.
This
year.
So it was something where I thought about coming back literally every single day that I was out there. From like the moment I got there, I was like, bro, like I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Like bring me back. Like it's beautiful out here. And I could say that from my experiences and being in other parts of the country, I can say that like everyone everyone low key wants to be here in California.
Yeah,
Everyone wants to be at the beach. Like our lives are someone else's like whole aesthetic.
Yeah, that's true.
Someone come to the OC for like a day, and like their whole aesthetic, like whole life mentality, everything is like palm trees and the sun and the beach. Like it's
true. Yeah,
It's
I never
true,
even
yeah.
thought we take it for granted because we
Yeah.
live here, but that's just some
Mhm.
people are like, one day I'll be there.
I can say you all are truly blessed to be here in California. I'm blessed to be here in California. People in other parts of the country will just see that you're in California and think like damn, they made it.
Yeah,
They made
it's
it. They made it to
true.
California.
And I'm
it's-
like, at the same time, we're over here like, damn, bro, we're not making it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
hard.
struggling
It's
over here,
struggling,
you know?
dude.
It's true. We look at it so differently, even though.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I can say that everyone knows that it's a struggle.
Yeah.
And so like that's why people like when they see that you're here, they're like, oh, like he's in Cali, he's making it.
Yeah.
It's like expensive out there, like it's hard. So it's truly a blessing to be here.
I was,
And
yeah.
yeah.
I feel that way too.
Yeah.
So you're back here,
Mhm.
but just a brief recap for the people that didn't hear the first interview a few years ago. What sparked the inspiration to like start making music for yourself?
Yeah, so it was something. I went to a church camp and I saw the band like performing, and like it was like worship music, but it was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was dope. Like the energy was loud.
Yeah.
And I went to a Korean church, and so like the Korean worship band, like they were lit, and like everyone in the church, like I don't know if it's a cultural thing, if like all Korean people can sing. I'm part Korean as well, but like they were just lit, like
Yeah.
just singing high volume. And I prayed to God. I just asked like God, like if you make me a singer, if you make me an artist, like I'll do it to, honor you and your creation,
Yeah.
type thing. And so I started like learning different instruments when I turned 13. I'd learned guitar and then bass and then piano. And like I really sucked for a long time. I still
Yeah.
probably like kind of suck low key, but like I'm good.
We're always learning.
It's a constant evolution. But
yeah.
I started with the guitar, and then honestly I think I wanted to be like Drake and Josh, like just like
Yeah.
it's going. I found
Gonna
a
take some
way.
time.
I found a way. Yeah, that.
funny.
I grew up on that era of like Nickelodeon and stuff, so like they always kind of glamorized it to make it cool with the guitar.
Yeah.
But when I actually learned music, like guitar was kind of just like my step or my introduction into like the beautiful world of like music and like composition, and that was something that was very alien to me. I was never really exposed to music as a kid. Like my parents didn't like music, like just
Dang.
like I didn't like music. Like it wasn't something that was really shown to me as a kid.
Mhm.
And like when I got older, like when I was like in middle school, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I want to learn the guitar. And then I learned bass and piano, and music opened up after that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I mean, I can't imagine that just because, my parents were so influenced by music and they had it on all the time. What were your parents like passions? Like what were they what were they pursuing? I'm just curious. Like what?
My parents were young. So my mother had me when she just turned 16.
Gotcha.
My dad he was 17, like so they were like the same age. But when you're 16 and you have a child, and my mom was also adopted out of a tribe, so she was a foster child and then was
Gotcha.
adopted and everything. So like to be adopted out of a tribe, to have a hard upbringing, and then kind of come into this family and get pregnant with a child.
Yeah.
They were trying to more so figure themselves out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I think that was kind of just something that, like, I think they listen to music, like, kind of in the distance. Like,
Yeah.
I know, like, I remember hearing, like, Shania Twain and, like, I remember Smash Mouth, Don't Speak by No Doubt.
Yeah.
Like,
just stuff like that you'd hear on the radio, like in obviously.
You'd hear it
Background.
background. Yeah.
Background, yeah.
It's like the soundtrack to just whatever movie you were watching. That was my childhood.
Yeah.
Like some background soundtrack stuff.
Oh. How are they doing now, your parents?
Bad.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
Oh, man, I was like,
Well, I do want to add that my mother's not like involved in my life. My mother
Gotcha.
left when I was young. Like,
gotcha.
A very long time ago. So I guess if we're talking about things that got me inspired into music, that directly
Yeah.
was, my mother leaving. And I have, brothers and sisters and like younger brothers and sisters that like they were like babies and like I helped like raise them essentially.
Gotcha.
But yeah, my mother leaving was like a very traumatic thing.
Yeah.
And that really created like a very sorrowful undertone to the way that I would conceptualize life. And with life being an extension of art, my mother leaving and abandoning me like was like truly the most painful thing.
Yeah.
So like there's always that undertone in my music.
Like there's pain there, and you can sense it too. And well, thanks for being so open about that. By the way, that's not an easy thing to just to share with everybody.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. But I also that makes sense. It puts everything in perspective. Like the way that you see the world is so different than somebody like me. That I've gone through my own journey, like we all have. But like, think you're gonna look at things differently, and that shows in the music too. I feel like the way that you put things together is so like unique to me that I'm like. That's why I invite you to be back on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Well, I don't want to. I want to keep talking to you about your past and your upbringing, but I also want to continue to talk about the music, just because that's what we're here to talk about, which is Letters to Earth.
Letters to Earth.
The recent creation that you just released earlier this year. I think it was a month ago, right? In October.
Yeah, that was the official release. I launched a hard copy a few months prior, just like kind of more as a demo.
Yeah.
And so like people that were really well connected bought that.
Yeah.
Well tapped into the fan base.
Gotcha.
So I appreciate that support. I do want to acknowledge like those like 12 people that
No, and those are the people
album.
that like the people that buy the physical
Yeah.
are the real fans, you know what I'm saying? And those are the people that like, down the line they're gonna, if you get enough of those fans, they're gonna support you,
100%. I have like 12 of them out there. Maybe
that's how it starts.
It could be 14, 15 today.
15. So Letters to Earth,
yeah.
how did you start creating that?
So Letters to Earth, that really was my project that I started building once I left here in 2019. I would go to church with my girlfriend and like I get high before church.
Yeah.
And like when you're in South Dakota, like getting high is like this taboo thing. But like, whatever. I just get on my vibe and I go like just vibe out in church. And like I would just really feel like the presence of people just like giving back, like people just worshiping, and like I would just feel that light. Regardless of any way you want to conceptualize it in words, like I just feel like the praise and the worship and everything. And so like knowing and recognizing how we're really in a dark time in the world, where we have the privilege of just being able to be safe, and it's a blessing to be here and to be safe and to have the freedom to explore, the freedom to even be creative. A lot of people in the world, I know they don't have that same luxury, and it's something that I haven't extensively dedicated myself to like the well-being of like third world countries and stuff. Someday, that's my plan, but to like truly help. But yeah, Letters to Earth was really like my I wanted to get on my save the world type vibe. Like I wanted to be on like my acoustic singer-songwriter, like save the world type vibe.
Yeah.
I was also just learning how to produce, like truly produce for the first time, like mixing and mastering. So it was kind of more of like a learning experience. It started with I want to, be on my save the world type shit. And then it kind of just more so just became an experimental project.
Well, I mean, when you say save the world type shit, like that's exactly what it sounds like. It builds up to this like kind of like epic, but still like some of the songs are more like relaxing to listen to. Some of them are more of an experience where it's more thrilling, but it's all like how it builds on each other. And that's what's really cool about that, man. Was there a song from those tracks that you struggled with the most?
The one that I struggled with the most. Yeah, there's this song. It's called "All We Need." I worked on it for like 2 years. I couldn't get the vocals right, but that was the one I struggled with the most. Like the composition is so simple.
Yeah.
Like if I had a guitar, I'd show you, but it just like, dun, 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 dun. I'm not just saying it, but the vocals were hard to get. Like, think about you often, and I wish that we just talk more when I initiate. Like, it was hard for me to capture that. That was probably even like, like to capture that. Yeah, was just that was very, very hard to do. And I dubbed a bunch of voices together, and like it just was like out of tune, and it like I had to keep re-recording it. I didn't really know how to project my voice like in a way that was musical.
Gotcha.
And so producing, like I'd be like kind of like, oh, it's like kind of jarring, like,
Like on top of this, it doesn't sound like it fits, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, and now in the music that we had talked about the last time you were 5 years ago, I think that you used that to your advantage to how the songs had their own kind of charm in that way, where it's your voice with the guitar, like it was a unique style.
Yeah.
So to hone it into what you're doing now is such an evolution, man. Do you feel like that? Like you're changing from who you used to be to who you are now?
100%.
Yeah.
As an individual, yes, I grow into that person every day.
Yeah,
and have peaks and valleys for sure. Come from low moments, have had high moments. Right now, I feel it's a good moment. It's a good moment for sure. Just being here, and being blessed to just be here in this space and this platform.
Well, likewise, man.
Yeah.
So what was I gonna ask about that? Speaking of like vulnerability, because of the fact that you talk about, I mean, before there's always been a vulnerability to your music. So how does it feel now to put these pieces of yourself out there? Like, do you feel like you're pushing further into who you are?
I do. I feel like I had to do this project because that represented who I was back then.
Yeah.
But now I want to create a project that represents who I am now.
Gotcha.
I feel like a lot of things. So say if we came up with an idea right now, like, hey, let's do a podcast or let's do an album. Let's do an album.
Yeah.
If we agreed on that today, if we start working on the album like right now, if we were really like motivated on the idea, then it would truly be a project of that moment.
Yeah.
But to come back and work on it and everything, the meaning is a little bit different. Sometimes it feels like more like I just kind of want to get this project out of the way. I want to finish this project so I can work on the next one.
Yeah.
I spent way too long on this project, Letters to Earth.
Yeah.
I did a film project too, Follow Your Passion, Fashion Behind the Scenes. It's like my first film project. I do want to add, I just I'm dropping that actually this week, like the full video.
Oh, nice. So by the time, will it be out by the time you hear this on Friday or when?
Yeah, I mean, I could drop it like now, like live on air or something.
It's up to you. I mean, it would be people would hear on Friday that it'd be out. So by Friday you'll have it out. So that's cool, man.
Yeah, I brought that up as that was kind of a tangent, but I worked like way too long on these projects, and I just wanted to get them out. So I had Letters to Earth. It's going to be part of a trilogy, and then it's the next one is going to be called Return to Sender.
Oh, nice.
And so like Return to Sender is going to be like Letters to Earth was like the first one. Return to Sender, like now I know what I'm doing with production.
Yeah.
It's going to come back.
Clever, yeah, because the letters and then return. That's cool.
Yeah, Return to Sender.
Nice. So is that do you see yourself continuing to make music as Sad Planet? Do you ever plan on changing that?
Damn. Okay, you're gonna bring that up. All right, I have to ask first. So, where did that question derive from? Like, is it?
Oh, just a thought I had. I don't know. I just thought because the idea of Sad Planet, I see it as like a project that you're working on, not like necessarily your final like artist name. You know what I'm saying? But I mean that's just speculation. That's how I see it. Like you could be saying this Sad Planet is a project you're going to be the rest of your like the idea of like the Weeknd, right? He's the bell, but he's also the Weeknd. Like, is that what you're trying to do, or is it, or is it Sad Planet something you're sticking with?
So, it's Sad Planet forever.
Yeah,
I do think that you're onto something. You feel the vibe.
Yeah,
I feel like you feel the vibe.
Yeah.
So, Sad Planet was always the brand.
Yeah,
it was the atmosphere. It started off as a film project.
Yeah.
So Sad Planet was the character in a film that I made with Rich Aperture, my business partner back in the day. I talked about it when I was here in 2019. That was like my big project at that time.
Yeah.
So Sad Planet was a lot of things, but to take an identity as one like single entity,
yeah,
like it's kind of hard for me to be Sad Planet and really take the identity of an artist because it means so many different things.
Yeah.
It's very broad. So I'm announcing it now. Rodriguez Show. What is it? November 18th?
Yeah, well, the 18th today, but the 22nd is when they hear it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I announced it today. You're gonna hear it on the 22nd. But yeah. So I am going to be rebranding all of my music.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna rebrand it as Planet.exe.
Oh, okay. Nice. So that's happening. Is that happening like immediately or when?
I think I've been thinking about it for 5 years, honestly. I feel like, all right, if I'm gonna be Planet EXE, I feel like this is like part of like the
You're
vibe.
changing
All
into right now.
It's like part of the persona.
Gotcha.
Planet EXE announced for the first time ever.
Nice,
But
man.
yeah, Planet EXE. So the idea that I have for it was always the character in Sad Planet, like in the Sad Planet atmosphere. Planet EXE was always the name of the character.
Gotcha.
I did a song called Planet EXE. It was one of my first songs. But yeah, so Planet EXE, you have an idea, you plan it, and you execute. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I felt like I was always good as a visionary. Like I was always a dreamer. Like, okay, I want to do this and I want to do that. But the execution always kind of was never completely in sync. The emphasis was always on the ideation and the creativity. Whereas now at this point in my life, I'm just like, I just want to execute. I have an idea. Like, okay, that's yeah.
Well, that's great, man. I feel like that's like great. That was my last question. Was like, what do you see for yourself coming up, or like what's next for you? But you're telling me right now that this rebrand is like the future. So I'm excited to see where it goes, man. That's great. Thank you for revealing that on the show.
Planet EXE, Rodriguez Show.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, y'all heard it first.
So before you take in the next step, the next evolution of Sad Planet, Planet EXE, we are going to look back and we're going to play a few tracks from Letters to Earth right now on the show. Which ones would you like to highlight?
So I was driving here and the moon looked beautiful, and I think it's the supermoon was like the supermoon is like now it's like waning, but bro, we got to play Supermoon.
Gotcha.
That my first song, like first official song, Supermoon.
We'll put that in there.
Okay,
and then two more.
Okay. Supermoon.
I really like 222.
Yeah, 222. Shout out Ollie.
Yeah,
she did the song with me. 222. Yeah, we'll do that one. And then I guess what other ones did you vibe with?
Well, Lost in Space was a single, so I think that'd be a good way to round them out. Don't you think?
Lost in Space it's long. Am I gonna sit here and are we?
No.
We're just
gonna add them after.
Okay, yeah. Let's do.
Or you could pick a different one. It's up to you.
Let's do Supermoon, 222, and Lost in Space.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great, man. So before we do, is there anything else you want people to know, man? I think this is a great interview. You give us a lot. I mean, what else can you give us?
Yeah, I felt like I was just yapping low key.
No, it was a lot of great stuff.
People got to know you like that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the platform.
Yeah.
Anything that I have, I guess, I feel like this moment is beautiful. I just want to shout out like everyone. Shout out the Rodriguez Show for hosting me on the platform. Like truly, to share my vision and my words. It's truly a blessing. 100%. Shout out everyone that inspired me along the way. Shout out Coolab. You know that really
Cool still going strong every other Thursday.
All right, I'm just gonna shout out a bunch of people. All right, shout out Coolab. Shout out DTV Open Mic, my homies, friends of the people. Shout out the homies. Just all the homies. Shout out all the homies I just went to Camp Flognaw with.
Oh,
yeah,
shit, nice.
Shout out Stacy, Ashley, Holly. The homies I was with. Yeah, I mean, shout out
the homies.
The homies.
Yeah, shout out the homies. There are too many homies to list right now, but yeah, shout out all the homies.
And like I said, they can follow you for now at Sad Planet Forever on Instagram. And thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's truly a blessing. Much love, much respect.
All right, let's get into
Blessings.
the tracks right now on the Rodriguez Show.
The Rodriguez Show.